So it was winter of 2019. This was, I believe, a month into wrestling season. I was a JV wrestler at the time. It was my second year wrestling. And I remember this quad that we competed at. And I remember the first match of the quad, I got pinned. I got absolutely dominated. And I kind of felt like shit after. But then I kind of made it back when the second match that I had, I ended up winning. I ended up pinning the kid and I was like super gassed. I was like super happy. And then we move on to the third match, which is what I really want to talk to you guys about. So this third match starts off, right? This kid is kind of going crazy on me. His technique is completely slobby, but so is mine. And I remember I get a single leg on him. I think I run the pipe or something like that. I take him down. I'm pretty much on him the whole time, just doing absolutely nothing, just kind of staying there. And that was the first round. Second round starts. I'm on top of him, and then I get him. I think I start doing like the spiral. What do you call it? The spiral ride? I forget. Like, I haven't done wrestling in so long. But I remember I was doing that, and then I got that kid facing flat on the ground, ended up getting the half Nelson, and I ended up pinning him. And right after I pin him, I'm like so gassed. I am literally so gassed. I'm like, I have my chest up. I'm like so gassed. I'm like walking like this, okay? And I do the stupidest thing ever. As I'm walking off the mat, I literally say this, light work! I literally scream, light work! In front of everyone. My coach, like, it was like the two JV coaches that were teaching me. One of the JV coaches, was just laughed it off, and he was like, he didn't really give a fuck. The other dude was like, Danny, like, relax next time, right? And my teammate, he had it like on recording. So like I have the actual video of it. I'm not gonna fucking show you guys because it's so cringy. But I can't believe I actually said that, bro. I literally said light work. I got so gassed at a fucking JV match. Okay, the kid wasn't even that good. That was probably like the second time that kid ever had a wrestling match. And I was so fucking gassed. Holy fuck. And originally, I didn't really think much of it. My teammates, they laughed. They laughed it off, and it eventually became like kind of an inside joke where my teammates would always be like, light work, Danny, this is light work, whenever I would have a wrestling match. But the next couple of days, right, I think I'm in Spanish class, and I start walking outside, and I see the head coach of the varsity team. So this is pretty much like the head coach of varsity. He wasn't there at the quad match, but he heard about what happened. And he went up to me, and he was pissed off. And he kind of, tore my ego down and told me, Danny, like, you lost most of your matches. And, you're out here celebrating as if you won the fucking World Cup. And he tells me, like, how would you feel if the other person did that to you? And it really just left me really feeling embarrassed and completely shit about myself because he was right. Like, why would I do that? It was very disrespectful. And it was just completely unwarranted. And like, it wasn't as if this was like an incredible, bro, it was just a JV match. JV matches are like exhibitions. They don't count towards your record or anything like that. So this really wasn't a big, the win, to me, it felt great, but it wasn't a big deal at the end of the day. And this goes back to the importance of not having an ego, because when you have an ego, you get so gassed and you feel so great, but you don't realize how much of a prick you are, first off. And second off, too, it kind of hinders you learning, because when you feel so gassed and you feel so good, you get to that point where you're like, I don't really think I need to learn anymore. You start to slack off in class. You're not really working as hard because you already think that you have what it takes, but you really don't. And that's kind of what I was, experiencing, a bit of ego. But it was like, this was what, at the time, like the fourth ever JV match that I won. This wasn't a big deal at all. So it's really important, man, not to let your ego get the best of you. Because if you let your ego get the best of you, then you're not going to learn as a person. So that's really like the first instance ever where, I let my ego get the best of me. And I'm not going to lie to you. I struggle with this sometimes where ego gets the best of me. I'm not perfect with this at all, honestly. And it's something that I still try to work on every single day. So really the lesson that you can take out of this is, don't be an egotistical prick. Always be willing to learn. Always be willing to get better. Don't be disrespectful to the people that you compete against. And fucking do what I did, because that was so stupid. And I'm still ashamed of it to this day, 5 years later. So yeah, don't make the same mistakes that I have. pretty much. Now, I'm excited to announce that I built a brand new course called the Fighter Mindset. So one of the biggest issues when it comes to martial artists is mindset. If you don't have a good mindset, at the end of the day, you're fucked. So that's why I built this course. So check it out. First link in the description below. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to subscribe, and remember, my boys, stay active, stay busy, and most of all, stay hungry.